Hello and welcome to News Now. I'm your host, Taylor Inman. We're going over the week's biggest headlines for Northwest Montana. Following more than 2 hours of public comment on Monday, Whitefish city officials said a traffic stop that led to the detainment of a Venezuelan man who was in the country legally might warrant further investigation. Whitefish City Manager Dana Smith said at the June 2nd City Council meeting that they've heard allegations of racial profiling or bias-based policing, adding that their policy states that allegations of bias-based policing can warrant an investigation. Smith's statements followed a lengthy public comment period during which more than a dozen residents raised concerns about the April 24th traffic stop initiated by Whitefish police officer Michael Hingis. According to the case report obtained by the Daily Interlake, Hingis called U.S. Border Patrol's Regional Dispatch Center to request a person check on Kalispell resident Becker Rengifo del Castillo after pulling him over for a broken taillight. The responding Border Patrol agent detained Rengifo del Castillo, who was subsequently held in federal custody for about a week, despite having entered the country legally under a 2-year humanitarian parole program. The Trump administration has made repeated efforts to end the program, but a federal court order blocked the termination of participants' parole status at the time of Rengifo del Castillo's detainment. Prior to the call, Rengifo del Castillo provided Hingis with a driver's license, car registration, and proof of insurance. Rebecca Miller, a local immigration advocate, told counsel that based off of the police report, there is no reason to presume he was violating immigration law. She concluded her testimony with a request to review the training materials police officers receive on criminal immigration violations. Other speakers called on the city to cease communications with Border Patrol agents, release the body camera footage of the traffic stop, and issue an apology to Rengifo del Castillo. Smith said the city is following a policy dictating that any alleged or observed violations of bias-based policing are subject to investigation by the department supervisor. But she said the conclusions of that process would be kept under lock and key. She said whether or not they pursue an investigation, that action or any disciplinary action is not available for public information, adding, quote, "That puts the city at a liability risk. Personnel, individual employees do have a right to privacy when it comes to any sort of disciplinary action," end quote. Whitefish City Attorney Angela Jacobs added that the body camera footage of the traffic stop would stay under wraps short of a judge ordering its release. She said copies of police training materials were available upon request. In a prior interview with the Interlake, Whitefish Police Chief Bridger Kelch stated that he did not see a need for further investigation into the traffic stop. While present, he did not comment at the meeting. A 26-year-old man allegedly fought with Columbia Falls police officers during a traffic stop in May, leaving one with broken teeth. Garrett Christopher Jobert faces a felony assaulting a peace officer charge and misdemeanor count of driving under the influence, second offense in Flathead County District Court following his May 22nd arrest. Behind bars with bail set at $60,000, Jobert is expected to appear before Judge Danny Kaufman on June 5th for his arraignment. The alleged confrontation began after an officer spotted a red truck driving over the white fog line of the road near the intersection of 9th Street West and South Meadow Lake Boulevard at about 12:31 a.m. Following the vehicle, the officer pulled the driver over after watching the truck cross the fog line several more times and speed through a 24-mile-an-hour zone, according to court documents. The driver, identified as Jobert, immediately asked for a lawyer, according to court documents. As he spoke, the officer described allegedly smelling the strong odor of an alcoholic beverage from Jobert's breath. Jobert, meanwhile, disputed the accusation that he had crossed the fog line and told the officer he lived just around the corner, though his license showed a Whitefish address, according to court documents. During a subsequent standardized field sobriety test on eye movements, Jobert showed multiple signs of intoxication, court documents alleged. He allegedly also swayed back and forth in a circular motion while undergoing the test. An increasingly agitated and antagonistic Jobert declined to participate in any more tests, told the officer his ankle hurt, and again asked for a lawyer, according to court documents. Though he told the officer to drop the drunk driving investigation and follow him home, he later consented to a breath test, but was unable to correctly blow into the device, according to court documents. As he struggled with it, Jobert allegedly began yelling at the officer for, quote, not being out catching pedophiles and people who kill children, according to court documents, and he also allegedly called the officer a racial slur. When the officer told Jobert he was under arrest, the 26-year-old began resisting, according to court documents. He tried to mule kick the officer, then joined by a sergeant in the police department, and repeatedly tried to pull away, according to court documents. Jobert threw an elbow as he was taken to the ground, leaving the officer with a broken lower tooth, 2 cracked teeth, and a chipped tooth, court documents said. In the charging documents, prosecutors wrote that Jobert faced drunk driving charges 3 times in the past 5 years and was charged twice with resisting arrest. He earned a partner or family member assault conviction in a case that began in 2020. If convicted of assault on a peace officer, Jobert faces between 2 and 10 years in Montana State Prison and a maximum fine of $50,000. A 23-year-old man accused of causing about $48,000 in damages while commandeering heavy machinery at a Kalispell construction site also allegedly bought beer and tobacco for his underage companions. Prosecutors brought Matthew James White up on a felony criminal mischief charge and misdemeanor count of unlawful transaction with children in Flathead County District Court, following a May 21st incident near Kidsport Complex. White, who remains in the county jail with bail set at $50,000, is expected to appear before Judge Paul Sullivan on June 12 for his arraignment. Kalispell police officers came across White after an employee of an excavation firm reported seeing people using machinery at a construction site at about 1:30 a.m., according to court documents. Responding to the area around the intersection of Northland and 4 Mile Drives, authorities found a running excavator. Aided by a neighbor who shouted "One went that way" while pointing west, officers found White. They also discovered a 14-year-old hiding under a barbecue cover left in the backyard of a nearby home, according to court documents. The teenager told investigators that White and another minor had picked him up earlier in the night. The trio stopped at a gas station where White allegedly bought a 30-pack of Busch Light Apple, an 18-pack of Twisted Tea, 2 packs of cigarettes, and 2 packs of Zen nicotine pouches for the group. Together, they drove around Kalispell before eventually arriving at the construction site. The teenager told officers that together they drove around Kalispell before eventually arriving at the construction site. They began drinking and taking turns operating the machinery, he said. Eventually, White and the other minor used the excavator to destroy pipes stored at the site, according to court documents. The teenager told investigators that when one member spotted headlights, they fled. The teenager also provided officers with a breath sample, which came in at .059, according to court documents. The construction site manager later estimated that the damage to the project came in at about $48,000. If convicted of felony criminal mischief, White faces up to 10 years in the Montana State Prison and a fine of $50,000. Misdemeanor unlawful transaction with children is punishable by a $500 fine and a maximum sentence of 6 months in the county jail. Thanks for joining us. News Now is a podcast from the Daily Interlake. We're proud to be the largest independent newsroom in Montana and the longest continuously published newspaper in the region. Today's stories were written by Daily Interlake news editor Derek Perkins and reporter Haley Smalley. If you haven't already, subscribe to our YouTube channel to never miss an episode of the pod. Everybody stay safe and have a great week. Thanks to our sponsor, Lauren's Auto Repair at 1309 U.S. Highway 2 in Kalispell. Most consistently rated 5-star shop serving the Kalispell area. Visit lawrensauto.com.